We're back with our panel assessing what we heard from the President of the United States, Candy Crowley, Gloria Borger, Van Jones, and David Webb. At the end of his remarks today, the President outlined various proposals in general terms, what the country needs to do right now.
I think it'd be productive for the Justice Department, governors, mayors, to work with law enforcement about training at the state and local levels in order to reduce the kind of mistrust in the system that sometimes currently exists. I think it'd be useful for us to examine some state and local laws to see if they are designed in such a way that they may encourage the kinds of altercations and confrontations and tragedy. We need to spend some time in thinking about how do we bolster and reinforce our African-American boys.
All right, David Webb, you're a leader of the Tea Party in New York City. You got any problems with what the president's proposing?
No, as a matter of fact, these are some of the approaches we need to take. And I've said before that when it comes to even just neighborhood watches and the community, it's good if the National Action Network wants to do some work, and the rallies are this weekend all across the country. Part of that might be to sit down with neighborhood watches and with the community and say, one, these are some things we can do to educate you. Neighborhood watches should be identified. This is what should happen, how you approach someone. This is how you respond if you're approached in the community. We need to educate. Education is at the core of getting through problems, and that's something that we need to do a better job of in this country. It's a responsible statement. My concern is the follow-through and what will be taken out of context and then also used by those that have a different agenda.
Van, go ahead, make your point.
Well, I just think that this is remarkably encouraging. I mean, here you have a Tea Party leader who says, you know, the president saying something that makes some sense, and then goes beyond that to make a proposal about how Al Sharpton and neighborhood watches could work together. I think that if we continue in this way, it's a good thing. You know, I also want to give some credit to some of the young people who've been demonstrating across the country. They've been very peaceful. The Dream Defenders down in Florida, very peaceful, and they've been trying to push for policy reform. They're not taking it into their own hands. They're trying to get the system to work. Some positive things are beginning to come out of this if you get past the extremes. And I just wanted to just say I think David's proposal is very good.
Quickly, Van, would it have been appropriate, the president directly addressed Trayvon Martin's family, his parents, would it have been appropriate for the president also to address George Zimmerman and his parents and his family, given what they've gone through over these past several months?
You know, I think in hindsight, that's probably going to be something that the president regrets. I think it wouldn't have taken very much for him to have added a line of comfort for them. I think that where he was coming from authentically is where the most of the kind of emotional devastation in the country right now is with the people who are concerned about the Trayvon Martin family. I think he was coming from that place authentically. I do think he probably may have some regrets about leaving that out. It opens up a line of attack on him from people who don't see him as trying to be constructive, but see him as trying to, quote unquote, inject race and exploit the issue. I think he may have made a mistake there.
David, you want to add?
I think there was a little bit of a political calculus, and again, it's what I see playing out in this. Yes, I agree, should have said something about Zimmerman's family. In fact, there are two victims here. Yes, Trayvon is dead. There's no doubt about that. That is the worst case. But Zimmerman has had a life-altering experience, and we don't know what happened in those minutes together, and we don't know what's truly in his heart. But it is likely that he feels his pain. I've spoken to his brother. I've spoken to others, and I think we should recognize that there are layers to this tragedy. The president should have been more responsible and addressed that. But I also see a political component in this, in that with the rallies this weekend, it is possible that this bolsters the base which supports the president, that he is standing up for them. He has been under a lot of pressure from the black community. He has been under a lot of pressure from Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, Rosalind Brockett, the NAACP, Ben Jealous, and others to pick a side. And I think he could have gone just a little bit better in not appearing to pick a side.
All right, gentlemen, stand by. Candy Crowley is still with us, as is Gloria Borger. Just ahead, the growing push to change stand your ground laws in Florida and across the nation. And later, Trayvon Martin's older brother says there's something he wants all of us to remember about Trayvon.